Good morning, Geminis. Welcome to 8 of Cups Tarot. It is 4:30 in the morning. You woke me up at 3:30 in the morning, urgently looking for your readings. So to whoever's vibe is getting me an early start, I thank you. However, I hope you could hear me okay. I have to talk kind of quietly because everybody's sleeping. Geminis. Doing things a little bit differently this month. I'm only covering the first half of March because the energy is very different than what it's going to be in the second half of March. The first half, we're still dealing with the retrograde Mercury, the fogginess, the haziness, the surrendering, the unknowing, the feeling like nothing's happening when indeed the most profound things are happening. I have a feeling we're going through that final purging and that final letting go, the releasing Mars South Node on that 8th house. That 8th house of the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, the 8th house of what has been probably a thorn in your side for quite some time. And by thorn, I mean one of those things that make you so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable that you have absolutely no choice but to deal with it. Mars is coming back through and poking it. Yep, the final provocation is Mars. And Mars will be the catalyst for the change that comes in at the end of the month, which is very Venus-like, but not your typical Venus. It is Venus with Uranus in a trine to the nodes of fate, in a trine to the eclipse and conjunction points, to Pallas Athena and Ceres, and all of the wonderful Jupiter. Everything is still in that Capricorn energy of climbing that mountain, of reaching those goals, accomplishing those tasks. But Mercury is in retrograde, so we're still dealing with the past. There are things we have to finish. Full moon in your 4th house. At the same time that Mercury dips out of your 8th house, out of your 10th house, and back into your 9th house so that you could change your mind about something. Probably something that was a deep-seated, rooted expectation in your life that is rapidly changing. And all it takes is that little bit of change early on in the month that changes everything, changes direction completely at the end of the month, and takes form so rapidly it's as if it was all meant to be, and the universe was just waiting for you to catch up. Let's pull some cards. So what I did is I took my Crowley deck and I just separated major arcana. And so I chose one card that kind of depicts the situation, the overall feeling, the attitude, what's going on with Gemini in this first half of March. Let's look at the card I pulled. the Lovers. There's something very romantic about the springtime, isn't there? There's a feeling of destiny, and especially now because Gemini, you're looking at becoming that North Node. I've been telling you in a couple of readings now. The North Node is moving out of your second house, meaning you could stop worrying so much about having enough money and security, meaning that you've worked and given yourself the self-love and the self-care that you needed in order to be able to accept abundance and love, to value yourself and demand that others value you. And so now you're ready to actually become the North Node. You're ready to become that point of destiny for others. Your creative mind is so important for all of us right now. And when you have Uranus and Venus meeting up together in your 12th house, things are about to get real creative. Things are happening on a subconscious level that is opening up so much for you. Uranus and Venus together are on a mission for freedom. So the old expectations of love aren't going to work anymore. What it used to look like for you is not what it's going to look like anymore. There is a dissolving of the ego, there is a dissolving of the boundaries and all of the walls that you put up. Gemini has gone through so much of the tearing down in order to be vulnerable, so this kind of creativity can come through in the form of leadership. Everything has been cleaned out so you could step forward and take your place in the sun, Gemini, and tell us all what we need to do. That's exactly what you've been prepared to do. And there's something so nice about having a feeling that you've known this entire time. That there's something about this situation that was very, very meant to be. There's a connection that brings out a whole nother side, like the third twin. And that dynamic changes everything. The Lover's card in the Crowley deck. There's so much wisdom in this connection. There's so much balance. There's so much appreciation for the differences. And it's funny because you know it's time, but it's not time yet. And it's driving you crazy. Overall energy, the Lovers. So I feel as though there has been a level of acceptance coming from my Geminis. I feel like there's a maturity in this energy in which you have chosen to recognize a situation as being quite precious, as standing out and being a little bit different than the normal. And it may be that for the first time, Gemini isn't getting bored. There's a level of satisfaction. It is a perfect balance of differences between two people that keep it alive and keep it interesting, but also earn the respect of each other. So I think this is somebody that connects to you physically quite well, intellectually quite well. They have abilities to dream. They have the ability to create with you and to build with you. There's a wisdom that you create when you're together that forms a sort of protection, a cloak around you. A moment in which everything feels like it's going to be okay. 11:11 when I said that. So it looks like this is something either from your past or this situation is extremely karmic. Now there may have been karmic lessons that you didn't close out in certain relationships, and those had to get dealt with. One way or another, the universe needs you to learn these messages, to learn these lessons before you move on. There's a level of graduation for all of us. Remember, we're in the school of emotional learning here on Earth, and that is our main duty and priority. So if you had old karma from relationships that never got dealt with, you may have had to work through that karma in this relationship. That could probably make things a little bit uncomfortable. But there was a cycle that needed to be completed, and the Justice card delivered. It turns out the connection was strong enough to survive that karmic cycle, because it is a past life karmic connection. Yes, you are right, this is extremely rare and special. This will be such a significant relationship that whether it stays forever or lasts 10 more minutes, you will never be the same. Queen of Pentacles, center of the card. Here's a universal test, Gemini. Do you know that you are worthy of this connection? Do you see clearly how precious of an opportunity this is? Or do they see you as clearly for how precious that you are? There is a testing of this connection to see in what regard you hold it in during trials, tribulations, times when you're distracted. How true and loyal can you stay to this will determine whether it's going to be around for a long time or it's just here to teach you more lessons. Now, if you don't get this relationship right, it's okay. It's all right, because this one will end and another one will come in, and things will feel very nostalgic and they will feel very similar in a lot of ways, and you will work this karma out with the same person, different face. So here's crunch time. There's a feeling, moon in reverse in your challenge card. Yes, there's hiding of your emotions. Yes, there's more focus on financial and foundational issues. the moon talks to me about balance. The moon, again, talking about the universe testing whether you realize and are ready, willing, and able to accept this kind of abundance and love into your life. The moon in the challenge card tells me that now is the time for you to be really careful and be really choosy. Uranus and Venus in your 12th house can release some real big secrets. They are the undoing. And so if there are secrets, if there is something that you have done, something that you're hiding, it's going to come to the surface. And it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And it's going to expose where you learn to balance that ego, that fear inside of you, that panic, that thing that you do when you get uncomfortable. If you run away, if you avoid, if you overanalyze, if you overeat, oversleep, overindulge in drugs, whatever it is that you do when you get scared and uncomfortable is going to come to the surface. Did you deal with it or not? If you dealt with it, great, here's the love of your life, move on to the next level. If not, well, now is a time that absolutely has to be put to bed. And you may sacrifice a beautiful connection because you were busy avoiding the things you needed to do. 8 of Wands in reverse in the outcome card for the next 2 weeks. Let me remind you again, very, very purposely, I chose to cover only the next 2 weeks because there's very different energy here. And the energy here, the thing you need to do is nothing. Now is the time to do absolutely nothing. Now is the time to go within, to withhold the communication, because the last thing that we need is Gemini to go preaching all of their thoughts and all of their assumptions while they're dealing with facing all of their fears and how they let it get them out of control. Not a good mix. Now is the time to shut your mouth, have some faith, and let this play out. And the more faith you get to have, if you've done the work and straightened out your issues. Let's clarify a little bit. A little bit about this Justice card, Chariot in reverse. Something came to a screeching halt. Four of Pentacles clarifying the Six of Cups. No matter how bad things got, no matter how far apart you came, how much distance, okay? No matter how much distance you got from this connection, you still felt it. You still held on. Now, this could also symbolize that you chose to hold on to your past wounds. And if that is the case, which is what we're going to clarify, if that is the case, then this period can be quite painful as the universe is ripping control out of your death grip. That's usually not a good way to go, because the universe will let you struggle and watch you struggle for as long as you are willing to fight. But eventually, be it old age, if you have any stubborn aspects in your chart, we could go through this karmic cycle for lifetimes. But nothing in your life is going to change until this is done. So I am truly hoping that this is a past connection and not the holding on to pain and suffering. I don't see that. Let's clarify this Queen of Pentacles, please. I need one more for that, Spirit. Why are you afraid to talk, Gemini? Well, don't talk right now. You don't want to screw this up. So you're withholding the truth. You're withholding some kind of truth to keep the peace and not risk the fragility of this connection by keeping your boundaries up. Self-defensive? Why, Gemini? Why? I don't know why, but I'm just getting a ridiculous stubbornness. And you guys too, you have to realize it's retrograde Mercury, right? Okay, so let's talk about this. It's retrograde Mercury, and your ruling planet is Mercury. It's not learning or making decisions. It's not learning new things. It's not moving on. It's not gaining any new information. It is only working in the old. It is shoring up the old stuff right now. Focus, Gemini. Focus. There's nothing shiny to be distracted, because there's nothing shiny going on. Just get to work. Shut your mouth and get to work. I have to tell you that when Mercury is retrograde, there are misunderstandings. When Mercury is retrograde in Pisces, there are misunderstandings that make you very, very sensitive. And you will take everything the wrong way. You embody the Mercury energy, which is sitting in a pool of martyrism and sorrow and the feeling like everybody is treating you unfairly. Whatever it is that you think you're going to accomplish by withholding the truth in how you feel. If you feel as though you are working on building a firm foundation with somebody, but you're not willing to have the conversations to clear up the old confusion, it's just going to continue to build, and you're going to continue to feel restless and feel like you need to defend yourself. Do you see how that could possibly affect your vibration and your connection? It's okay, Gemini. Loosen the grip, because when you put a lot of worry, when you hold on to things too tightly, you create a resistance, making the other person want to walk away and get some distance. So maybe this person's making you feel a little too close. They're cutting in a little bit to Gemini's territory. But you want to tell them that. You're afraid to tell them that. Maybe they're intrusive. Oh, great. Challenge card. The moon in reverse. The sun upright. You can fight this all you want, Gemini, but the truth is coming out. There will be moments very soon in which everything comes to light. It could be that Uranus-Venus connection. It could be the moment of letting go, of getting vulnerable, of taking the blindfold off and being ready to deal with what it is that needs to be dealt with. Do not communicate until you have checked your damn ego. Moon in reverse, Strength card in reverse, the Hierophant. Okay. That's funny. So, Eight of Wands in reverse. No communication, cutting off communication, not feeling, not talking about your feelings until you are back up on your feet. May have been the only sign that didn't get a speech in the beginning about how we've gone through this major transformation, right? It's kind of like a baby calf when they're born and they stand up and they start to walk immediately, which is like amazing that that's even possible. But they get up on those legs and they're so cute and shaky and they don't really have their strength yet. They're just learning to stand in the skin for the first time, this new person that they've become. And that's what's going on with you, Gemini. And I think there's a level of which you are being stripped down and you're having to feel the feelings. So we're not intellectualizing them. I'm not getting a lot of swords here. In fact, the only sword I have, Gemini, is in the reverse. So we're not making decisions based on logic, and we're no longer coming from a place in which we assume everything is going to go very badly and we're giving our negative thoughts too much power over us. We're done with that. Now we're recognizing what things are. We're understanding the emotional scope of it, the emotional level. We're understanding the importance of balance and connection. But mostly I see a lot of pentacles and a lot of wands, which tells me that what you want, Gemini, what you ultimately want and need in this next phase of your life, this next 30 to 40 years of Saturn and Pluto conjunction energy in Capricorn in your 8th house, what you want is stability, is dependability. It is somebody that you can trust. What Gemini wants is somebody so reliable, but somebody who also keeps their interest. And this is the ultimate euphoria for a Gemini. If this person keeps you interested, and it also becomes a safe place for you to go in a time in which you're about to get really emotional because you're about to get really creative, and creativity is made from emotions. This connection has to happen so that you can increase your creativity, raise your vibration, and accomplish the things that you need to accomplish from May of this year for 18 months past that, because your leadership is so desperately needed for everybody around you, Gemini. You're getting ready to step in the spotlight. Hierophant, it's commitment time, and it's not specifically a commitment to a person, it's a commitment to yourself. It's a commitment in knowing that you are so special, that you have so much to offer, that you're about to do such amazing things, and you don't want to do it alone. And with the Hierophant there, divinity believes in you very, very, very much, and they are on your side. Justice card. There's a very specific reason why this particular relationship came back for you to take a second look at. Very specific reason that's going to change your destiny and the direction of your life forever. If this resonates, Gemini, you are being prepared from some really, really big changes, and if that is true to you, then you know. If you know and this resonates, the person you're dealing with is a very extremely special soulmate, and the universe really wants you to get your shit together, really wants you to be ready to accept this fully for what it is. And so it's giving you a couple weeks to be a big baby and work through some emotional stuff so that you could regain your strength and be ready to face this like an adult. Body, mind, and spirit, communicating, accepting the emotional connection, working on the foundations, and taking the next step towards the future, which you want really bad because there's so many wands here that it's all you're thinking about. High Priestess in reverse. The Moon in reverse. You are really clear on this. You're as clear on it as I am being clear with you. You already know this. There's no secrets here. You know that this is a person that you can trust. Saturn, Pluto conjunct in your 8th house of trust issues, no more. You're recognizing what the gift that the universe gave you by working through all of the trust issues that you've carried with you since you were a child. you now get a gift in the form of a beautiful relationship in which you could trust this individual. Let's get an astrology card for you. Neptune and Aquarius, this is a very specific message on March 4th and 5th. Mercury, your ruling planet, is going to slip from Pisces into 28 degrees of Aquarius, in which it will turn direct. At that time, between March 4th and March 11th, you may change your mind about something that you've had set for quite some time. And until this time period is over, so until you hear from me on the mid-month, now is not the time to do anything. No, do not worry, because I do not think there's any form of deception or any secrets coming out. This is not what we're talking about. But there is something that will be occurring that could possibly change the scenario and everything for both of you, and probably in a very good way. Until then, there is no need to make any drastic changes right now. Just take care of yourself. Honor, rest. Wow, Gemini, this was quite a reading. I mean, I could definitely understand why. You woke me up at 3:30 in the morning. Camel, look at that moon. Oh, I'm telling you, between this Mercury going, the Mercury goes direct, and then just a couple days later, we have that full moon in Virgo in your 4th house. So I feel like something is about to happen here, maybe regarding a home situation or a family dynamic. Something's going to happen that's going to maybe change the course and direction of what you're dealing with right now. I don't see it being in a really negative way. I feel like there's some kind of a catalyst that's going to make something move along here. Let's clear it up with this camel. I have a feeling this is a missing piece. But the universe doesn't want you to do anything right now, because I think that they're working on it. Camel, resourceful, independent, and knows oneself. The camel can handle absolutely anything, as it carries a wealth of nourishment within. This wondrous creature is self-reliant and handles challenges with ease. Even in the face of excess heat, judgment, or anger, the camel searches inside for the cool elixir of water to calm the situation. The camel represents the ultimate form of bringing opposites into balance, fire and water, and being responsible for one's own reactions. The camel is a wonderful traveler and is especially fond of trips and faraway lands. Maybe this is a sudden invitation to travel. This also talks about the Lover's card, the balance, the yin and the yang, the two opposites coming together. So there may be some kind of a catalyst if you are not in communication at all, and I'm talking much more than just not talking about your feelings. If you are actually not speaking to this person, haven't seen this person in a really long time, there could be a situation that occurs that lines you up to run into them. There could be when they talk about the excessive heat, judgment, and anger, I also think that that's a lot of sexual energy here. Again, Venus is about to move into Taurus right around the time that Mercury moves into Aquarius in your 12th house. These are like subconscious revelations within. Taurus and Uranus being activated. It's so sudden. Sudden things are going to occur. 12th house, that does rule secrets. But again, I'm not getting a sense of defeat. I think that things are going to come to the surface in a positive way. I think in the month of March, we can all allow ourselves to be pretty hopeful. Now, Neptune opposing that full moon in Virgo can bring truth to light, but Neptune hanging out at the degree that it's hanging out at, and be it that it's in a nice energy flow with Jupiter, Mars, Venus and Mars are working together. Venus, Mars, Uranus, Saturn is leaving these people alone. So Saturn moving into Aquarius, which is your 9th house, like I said, it takes that pressure off. It may remove the blockages and the delays that are being experienced within this connection right now. If you cannot figure out why you feel like you can't get through to this person, and then finally Mercury moves out of that 8th house into the 9th house, you get a moment of reprieve. Aquarius is about connection, but it's a connection with detachment, detaching from the outcomes, allowing one to be their authentic selves. There could be a major change in dynamic in this relationship. There could be a major change of your mind. Who knows? You are a Gemini. I don't know. It's hard to keep up sometimes. But hang in there right now. And now is a time to observe and not react. That's honestly 100% across the board for anybody, even if you're a cross watcher. Things may come to the surface, and you need to really watch how you react to it, and do not react at all. Sit back and observe. People, their masks are being removed. They're becoming themselves. You're seeing people for who they are, for their true intentions. And I have a feeling with all of these pentacles that you may be seeing this person in a light of which you want to really believe in them. They may be really earning your trust in some way. Really special, Gemini. Again, take care of yourself. Go within. Watch your words. Watch your words, Gemini. Watch that anger and that agitation. Chill out. I know that the Pisces vibe may not be your vibe, but you might, looking back on this time, really enjoy the things that are actually happening for you. Have a great couple of weeks, and I will see you mid-March. Bye.